So this lecture is from chapter 4, and it is on how does attitude affect our behavior. Just a quote I like. You guys know I always include quotes with my PowerPoints. A positive attitude causes a chain reaction of positive thoughts, events, and outcomes. I think that's true. A positive attitude, even though it's sometimes difficult, can really cause a positive chain reaction in other things. So let's define what attitude is. It's simply the way you think and feel about someone or something. It can be positive, negative, or neutral. And if you look at the diagram on the left, you can see kind of the sources of how attitudes are formed. Past experiences, of course, prejudice, coaches or teachers or family, your peers, your friends, and media, of course, these days has a huge impact on our attitudes. So that's a little bit of how attitudes are formed. So the next question is, do attitudes always predict our behavior? Let's see if they do or not. No, not always. Moral hypocrisy refers to the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform. This term highlights a disconnection between professed ethical values and actual conduct. So according to past and current research, this appears to often be the case when relating attitude to behavior, that attitude doesn't always reflect how we behave. So then let's ask the question, does attitude ever affect our behavior? Yes, sometimes it does. Our attitude affects our overall behavior. The effects of an attitude become more apparent when we look at a person's aggregate or average behavior. So it may not affect specific events, but our overall behavior, it definitely affects. When attitudes are related to a more specific behavior, an example from the text is that attitudes toward the general concept of health fitness poorly predict specific exercise and dietary practices. But someone's attitudes about the costs and benefits of jogging are a fairly strong predictor of whether they jog regularly. So when an attitude is related to a very specific behavior, the attitude and behavior tend to match more than when it's not. The attitudes that best predict behavior are accessible, easily brought to mind, as well as stable. So when an attitude is very accessible, it's more easily going to affect our behavior. Attitudes rooted in emotion are especially likely to stay the same over time, and thus especially likely to consistently predict our behavior. And when attitudes are forged by experience, not just by hearsay or what someone else says, they are more accessible, more enduring, and more likely to guide actions. So those are just some quick ideas of how attitudes are formed and if they really do predict our behavior. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do, and that's just a list of times when they really do predict our behavior. So we know there's a relationship between attitudes and behavior in the overall person. Again, that was just a really quick review of attitudes and behavior and the relationship between the two. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.